Okay, this is the CERS video I've been promising you. It's about getting into CERS to pull an aggregate report so that you can do year-over-year comparison or just look and that's where we're going to really focus on scale score or to look at your subgroups, etc. So I'm at the Tom's website, and I always go through this way because it kind of automatically logs me into CERS that way. Also, because we have to renew security affidavits and Tom sign-ins every year, it would be good if you went this way. So we're going to go ahead and, my session is stopped. But then we just log in. And you're going to select CAASPP, although it doesn't really matter as much, but it's easy either way. And then up here under links in the top, you're going to click that and then scroll down under reporting to CERS. And you're already logged in because you went through Tom's. So here's, I'm gonna get rid of the picture now. So we're gonna go to custom aggregate report. And what we want is a yearly report, which is the default anyway. Now, since you're a principal, you probably won't have districts right here. If you do, go ahead and exit out unless you want district results as well. So I'm just gonna sort of pick a school at random, just type it in, Ocotillo. Now this box down here where it says district results for selected schools, that means it will give you district results. I'm an LEA coordinator, so it gives me district by default, but you probably want to uncheck that unless you want to compare to district results. The same for states and school results. Like if you were looking at a district, you would check this to get all the different school results, but that's not what you're going to do. You're going to look at yours and you're going to uncheck district results. So you need to be very specific. So make sure summative is highlighted. You're going to ask for ELA and math if that's what you want to look at. Now, Ocotillo is an elementary, so we only test in that school in grades 3, 4, and 5, but you're going to apply whatever, you're going to ask for whatever grades you want here, right? If you just want to look at one grade at a time but get really deep into subgroups, you can do that, and you can pull as many reports as you want. If you want to do a comparison, you're going to select both if you just wanted to look at 1 year. So whatever's highlighted is what we're doing, right? Okay, so I'm going to show us what, without picking any subgroups, we're gonna see what the report looks like. So here's the report review. So your report for Ocotillo, summative, ELA, math, both years. So we're gonna give it a name. We're gonna say Ocotillo or Octo compare 25, because it's 24, 25, and 25, 26. So we're just gonna say 25 and 26. If you scroll past that, this is just a sample layout. It's showing you what it's going to be. You're almost always going to have to side scroll. It's just the way it's laid out. So as the report generates, we just wait for a second. So you'll see that this is ELA and math are separate. And we've got some controls on here. So this is third grade, 24, 25. This is 25, 26. If you wanted to do cohort compare, you would go 24, 25 in third, and then look at, so this is at overall, and then look again, and we can see that in 24, 25, third grade at Ocotillo left with an average scale score of 2399. But at the end, that same ostensibly that same group of kids improved all the way up to 2445, which is a 46-point improvement in scale score. So then we can go on the performance bands. As you side scroll, you can also see, like if you had empty rows, you can show or hide your empty rows. That'll come up when we do subgroups. You can display as a percent or a number. And then it can be where it says grouped or all, it means at or above or below. We don't usually look at data that way in Palmdale, but that's what. And it's all the same stuff here down here for math. So again, all the same columns, all the same controls. So those are overall. But again, like if we were going to compare third grade in 24-25 scale score of 2401, and then in fourth grade scale score of 2467. So we see for that group of kids, and it's obvious, like when we look at students tested, it was 93, and that same, we're going to assume mostly the same cohort, but it's 111. So the numbers did change, but we can see that there was pretty good growth in that same group of kids, right? Or roughly that same group of kids. And so if we wanted to pull this down as a spreadsheet, we could do that. You're going to pull them each down separately. So it'll say export, and then you can, what I will do is bring it into Google Drive. And once it's dropped in here, so it comes in as a CSV file, and you're just going to right click in Google Drive and open with Google Sheets. If you just double click on it, it will open it in preview and then ask you to. And once it's here, you can do your formatting, right? You can manipulate it however you want. So, but let's go back to CERS and start a new inquiry. So we're going to go create a new query. And again, we are going to say Ocotillo, so it saved that for us. It saved what we did, but this time we're going to add subgroups. And there's this thing, customize subgroup. It's a little confusing, so I would just stick to the regular ones. But for example, if you wanted to look at just Hispanic Latino, you could say, oh, and then create that subgroup. Now, and you can see that right here. The interesting thing there is if I leave Hispanic Latino and then say English learner, and then I say create another subgroup, I'm going to get another line of data for all Hispanic Latinos who are also English learners, and this will be just all Hispanic Latinos. So like you have to be sort of careful with that and kind of understand what you're doing. So we're just going to add the race ethnicity subgroup, and that'll break it out. And you see it's renamed with the one, I'm going to say, is that what they call them? Yeah, subgroup. We tend to call them student groups, but the state still calls them subgroups. We say create report, and again, you always get the graphic first. Once you start adding stuff, the reports can take a little longer. So we still have the overall here, and then we're broken out by subgroup. Again, this is still grade 3 overall, and then broken out, and you can see your individual numbers. You can see how kids did. Now, when you have an empty line like this, that means in the next year for the same group, we have an ethnicity. So that's where the show hide rows. So here's an example, right? I'm gonna hide that. So in 24-25, no Filipino students. In 25-26, we do have Filipino students. If you came over here and said hide the empty rows, it would collapse, and it's shorter to look at, but you will have this case where, like, maybe from year to year, a subgroup disappears or is added kind of out of nowhere, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and show them. And again, this way it's 24-25 all overall, and then all the subgroups broken out, the 25-26 overall, and then the subgroups broken out. If I come back over to here and I say, or no, not here, like grouped, that's the same thing. That's achievement levels. However, you can sort by subgroup. So if you click here on and you can sort on any of these columns, but if you click the subgroup and we go back to the top, then we have third overall, 24-25, 25-26, then fourth. So it's grades 3, 4, 5, and they're grouped, right? So this puts the year together. So if you're doing comparison by overall, year-over-year comparison overall, and if you're doing by student group comparison, that makes this a little bit easier visually, right? So in 24-25, we had 68 Hispanic Latino third graders, and they scale scored 2398. In 25-26, we have some improvement of 17 points on scale score. And then in grade 4, the same student group, where we see a little bit of decline, et cetera, et cetera. And if you want to go back, you just click it again. And then if you keep clicking, the sort will eventually get back to original. And again, to get that into a spreadsheet, we're going to export that. And then we're going to bring that into Google Drive. You could open it up in Excel if you like Excel. I'm not. That's not my jam. So then right click and open with Google Sheets. And now you have it saved as a Google Sheet. You can do this hand thing so you have the top row locked. And then what you will notice is once you add is that as the grade or as the years change, it will, so like there's overall to 24, 25, right? And then 25, 26 sorts. So in the spreadsheet, when you add all the subgroups, the organization does get a little persnickety, let's call it, or a little finicky because then sorting that, but you can always, like take this chunk of data, copy it, and then just add a new tab and paste that in there so you can break it out if you really want to. So there you go. That's how we get from, remember we started in TOMS, we went to links, then we went into CERS, and it'll open you up to reports. Report type, we want a yearly report, right? It'll just open up right to where we want. You put in the name of your school. If you have district, you're going to uncheck that, or it will put in the district scores and you're going to uncheck those and just have the name of your school there. And then select the things you want. If you're a middle school, you're obviously going to pick 6, 7, 8. If you're PACS, you're going to pick 9, 10, 11. If you want to add CAS to it, you can. If you want to look at your alternate assessments, you can. Obviously, CSA for the duals, for example, if I wanted to pull that. I don't know how much of CSA's been reported yet, though. It always comes on a little later, but you always can look. In any case, and then we're going to, we select the pieces of our reports, we title it, create the report, and then if you're missing something, it will let you know. And you can look at the graphics and then export to be done with it. I hope that really helps, and let me know if you have any questions.